Okay, you are welcome to day 14 of the Holiday Bootcamp for Parent of Toddlers with Chomo Okoli. I am the founder of the Expectant Parent Academy. I am super excited because this is just one day to the end of the bootcamp, and it's been amazing for me sharing from my experience, sharing from my wealth of knowledge, hoping that you find them useful and you implement them in your own parenting, especially if your children are toddlers. Okay, all right. I have heard a couple of times, both online and offline, you know, adults making the impression or making statements that suggest that the ears of children, especially toddlers, are not for hearing but for design. You know, they feel that um, you say something and the child will not, the children don't hear you, and all of that. But that's not true. There is really no scientific study whatsoever that's proved the points or in agreement with that assumption that their children don't hear with their ears. If a child is not hearing with his or her ear, um, then there is a problem. You should really take that child to go and see the ENT specialty, an ENT doctor, or you can start off with a pediatrician who will do the initial assessment and then refer you to ENT. But if your child's ear are not functional, you definitely need to get to ENT so that we'll know what is going on. All right. So children, their ears hear, and very speedily at that. The day you know that the ears of your children are functional, that they're only being selective to what they listen to, what they respond to, is the day you promise them something or you say something they like. The speed with which they will stand up and leave whatever it is they are doing, that's the moment you realize that this child is really not hard of hearing or deaf. Okay, so oftentimes parents and adults have challenges or have a hard time with getting their children to pay attention. So what do we do? How do we resolve this? I'll give you 5 steps, just 5. Currently I'm putting together an instructions guide for parents, and so in that guide, it's going to be much more extensive. It's something that you should be able to refer to, and then work with. Okay. In day 13, I mentioned that one of the natural phobias that everyone is born with is fear of loud noise. But oftentimes, because of our constant wrong method of parenting, those of us that still shout at the top of our voice, we shout, and it's as if it's as if the people around the children, loses that phobia by forceful desensitization or whatever. But the point is, is it desensitization? No, it's not desensitization. I think it's flooding. The method now of taking them out of that phobia is flooding, because we are always, banging in their ears and all of that. So how do we make it easy? I think one day I was walking with my son on the road, and he wanted to run into the main road. I raised my voice to get his attention. Of course, in the no yelling pattern, I would say, of parenting, there are exceptions. Exceptions is in the case of accidents or emergencies. If your child is running into danger without knowing, and you know that raising your voice will attract that child's attention, please raise your voice and save your child. Okay, that's an exception to the no yelling thing. Okay, so I yelled his name and said, "Come back here." My guy didn't come back. He ran on. Our luck was that there was no vehicle coming in both ways. So I reached out for him and grabbed his hand. We had to turn back to the house. It was just a street walk. I think we were going to get something from one of the shops close to the house. Or we're just taking a routine walk around the neighborhood. So we got back to the house. I think it was a casual walk. So because we cancelled the walk, at least I needed him to get the seriousness of what he just did. If there had been a vehicle coming on, of course, okay, he started this his don't hold me thing. All right, so when we take walks, I allow him walk on his own, but I'll be the one on the side of the road. So that particular day, I can't remember exactly what happened, but he wanted to. Now we'll be having a conversation about you don't walk on the road or you don't run into the road so that keke or car will not crush you. Yeah, I use things like if you walk into the road, keke or car can knock you down. You can break your hand or your leg, and your daddy will have to put cannula on your hand and all of that. So he understands that putting cannula on the hand is not palatable, so he doesn't want that. He understands what pain is, so he understands that if he breaks his hand or his leg, it's going to be painful. That's undesirable too, so he's trying to avoid it. So we've had these conversations before I started letting him walk by the side. So that day that he ran into the road, despite my raising my voice to call him, and he ignored it, I told myself we need to work on him obeying instructions. Because obeying instructions, there are times that it will be a matter of life and death. So imagine there was a vehicle on high speed. My house is, the streets we're walking on, there were lots of cars passing there on high speed. There are no bumps that area. So imagine there was one of those vehicles speeding to get where I'm then. So we had to cancel the walk for the day. I started working on him obeying instructions. And I can tell you that right now, I've mastered it. I've mastered him well enough, and he has also mastered my tones well enough that he knows when to stop and do what it is that mommy is saying. He knows that mommy will not flog, mommy will not yell, mommy will not pinch or slap, but he knows when mommy is serious. And even when we are playing, we know when to obey instructions, and when we know both him and myself, we are clear on that. All right. So what are the ways you can instruct your child for maximum results? Your child, or if you work with children, in the case of teachers and all of that. Number one is authority. As a parent or a teacher, you have authority over that child. For us parents, being a parent is a symbol of authority. It's a symbol of what do you call it? You are in charge. Basically, take it. You are the boss. So don't go doing like, do I know if this child will like it like this and all of that? You are in charge. Whatever that means to you, just grab it. And so when you're speaking to your child, bear that authority in your facial expressions and in the tone of your voice, and make it seen and heard. That is your number one thing. Now, you would say, what if we are playing? Yeah, if you are playing, let your face show you're playing, but let the tone of your voice show it's coming. This instruction is coming from me, and it's to be obeyed. All right, it really make it simple for the two of you. The next one is clarity of instruction or assignments. Sometimes you see people saying things like, I've been talking to you since. These children, you're disturbing me. They're this child. You after my life. I will not die for you. Oh yeah, stand up. Go and keep it there. So what happened to all of these children? You're killing me. I am tired. What are those things for? Preamble. Sorry. That is you trying to how do I put it? Pour out, unburden your heart. That is you trying to that is you trying to ventilate bottled up emotions. It's not about what that child have done, what that child has done, or what you want that child to do. So when you're speaking to your child, you want your child to pick up the cup they used to drink water. You want to try to pick up the plate they just finished with and keep in the sink. Then be straightforward. Make your instruction of assignment clear. Pick the cup, pick the plate. You're okay. You can make it really wonderful. I see you finished eating your food. Yes. Oh, that's beautiful. Well done. I'm happy that you finished your food by yourself. Okay. You're a good boy. You're a good girl. Those are the good preambles you need. Okay. Now you finish eating. Pick up your plates and then keep it on the sink. That is if you're still teaching that child to pick the plates and take to the sink. But if you've taught it and you're at the level of execution, you say, okay, so now you've finished eating. What do we do to the plates? The child will be able to tell you, pick it up and keep in the sink. Beautiful. Okay, so go ahead and pick it and keep it in the sink. You are clear. There is still authority. You're not like, I've told you before, whenever you finish eating, take your plate, keep it on the sink. Why are you always waiting to be told? Do I always have to remind you? Yeah. You're on your own. You see all those hands, all those facial things, blah blah blah. The child is being entertained. Yeah. Unfortunately, you think you're trying to get your points passed, but you're not passing any points. That child is being entertained, and for all the child cares, oh, this is good. Go on with the entertainment. They just look and be waiting for you. Now, for you that will rush to hit or to hear, the child will just be there looking at you. Alright? So that's really not. Number one, show authority. Number two, make your instruction of assignment clear, so that he or she is not in doubt. Number three is simple and straightforward. Make it simple. If you want to start with the preamble, start with a good preamble. Oh, you finished your food. That's nice. Oh, I'm happy that you finished your food. So what do we do to the plate? Good preamble. The child knows that you're praising him or her, and is most likely going to obey your instruction. So what is the next thing you're saying is simple. Pick the plate, keep it on the sink. That's simple and straightforward now, right? You're not like, so why is that place littered? Why is that place littered? See how there is grains of rice on the floor? Why are you waiting to sweep it for you? Take that plate and go and keep it on the sink. Or see so, and when you finish, bring a broom and pack and sweep the grains of rice, right? And probably get a towel and tidy the table, right? Good. Those things are nice, but they are not simple. They are not straightforward. You first started with, why did you? Toddlers who are making efforts, who make effort to feed themselves, they will definitely mess up their corner. You probably messed up more or worse than them when you were in their age. So why are you making it a big deal now? Okay, so the child has finished eating. First things first, take the plate to the sink, right? Number one simple instruction. Number two is, now the plate is on the sink. So what's the next thing? This place is not tidy. So what do we do? You're giving the child clue to think. That's one of the things you need to raise a child that is a toddler that is thinking. So now you've picked the plate. What's the next thing we should do? If the child says, I don't know, you can say, all right, I feel we should get broom and pack and sweep this place, and then get a towel to tidy the table. Let the child do that. If the child can't get it, or maybe the place that these things are locked, or they're out of the child's reach, you open the door, walk the child in there, pick them up, give it to the child, come out. You're still parenting, right? You're still parenting. So don't think, I'm tired, you should know how to do these things. A toddler, really? You're just working yourself up. If you can't do it, let someone else do it, but be a part of it. And let that someone who is coming to be a part of it, who is coming to do it, know what to do and not mess up in words or actions. So now you brought the towel, clean the table. The next thing should be to sweep the floor. And when that child has done a nice job, sometimes, of course, it depends on the level you are. If the child cannot sweep, you may have to hold his or her hand and the other hand with packer, so that you see how it is done, and you do it. You do it together. Go trash it in the dustbin, or allow him or her trash it in the dustbin. Return those things, and you are cool. You give instructions. Let them be simple. When you give instructions, let them be simple. Let them be straightforward. All right. So the next thing is show seriousness. See, in this era of what do you call it, gadgets, children really know when you're serious. If you're talking to a child and you're pressing your phone, you're talking to a child, your eyes are on the screen, maybe laptop or television, and you're giving the child instructions. If that instruction is not on what that child wants, like you're asking the child to go and get juice in the fridge, or to go and get biscuits from the wherever it is you keep it, that the child knows where to pick it from, the child will assume you're not serious. Sometimes you're pressing your phone and giving instructions, they are bringing their face into that gadget, because it's not only you that want to see what's going on there. And then you say that your child doesn't listen or doesn't obey instructions. Come on, when you want to give them an instruction, can you drop the phone? If it's not dropping, can you face it away and face the child and give the instruction? All right? It's really no big deal. Okay? Many of us, not all of us, let me not say many of us, not all of us press our phones in that instance to make money. And if it's not Jesus Christ we are chatting with now, right? Or it's not Jesus Christ we are selling to. So if we don't sell at that moment, in that split seconds, excuse me, we'll lose thousands or millions of dollars or euros or pounds or whatever, or even naira. Okay? So if you're giving a child instruction, look at that child. Sometimes you may have to place your hand on the child's shoulder, depending on how tedious the task or unpalatable the task you're giving is, the task you're giving instructions on is. So you may have to hold the child in his or her hand and talk while looking into his face. So when you're giving instruction, show some seriousness. The degree to which you show instruction is most likely the degree to which your child would listen to you. And then the fifth one, I said I'm going to mention 5. In the guides, in instructions guide I'm working on, it's going to be more than 5, but I feel 5 is good enough, so we don't make this video longer than it already is. Reaffirm what you say. Sometimes you may have to say, what did I say? After giving you instruction, after showing seriousness with authority and being simple and straightforward and all of that, you may want to ask the child, what did I say? And the child will tell you what you said. Sometimes they may not even get what it is you said, probably because you were not straightforward, or you didn't calm down to give your instructions or whatever. But go through it again and know what to do or what to correct. And when you've done this and your child has repeated what you say, you now say, okay, so what do we do now? We should go ahead and do what mommy or daddy has said. And that settles it. So I want to believe that by the time you implement these 5 things and you still do not get, your child still do not obey you, then let me know what it is. Okay? All right. So thank you so much for listening in, and do have an amazing day.